Welcome back to the Chillinois Basketball Podcast. I'm Chase Swearingen. Alongside with me, as always, is Noah Morgano. It's an exciting week to be an Illini fan. We do have the annual Bragging Rights game coming up on Monday evening, a game I will be attending. The Illini will play the Missouri Tigers. Always an exciting game this year. Doesn't have the flair as some years do in terms of, I think I said last podcast, these guys used to go at each other for 4 years, so they just hated each other. Now, Missouri, who we'll get into, has some continuity from last year's team. So do the Illini. So it will be ideally an exciting matchup at a neutral court game for both teams. Missouri, not the strongest team the Illini will face this year, but because it is a rivalry game in a neutral court, you never want to underestimate an opponent. I do think Missouri has had opportunities to play some better teams and has failed those tests. They played Notre Dame and Kansas in back-to-back games earlier on in the season, and they lost both of them. Other than that, they have an unblemished record, though. They are 10-2, but they have really played nobody of significance so far. So this will be on paper, Noah, you want to see the Illini win this game by 15 to 20 points. Um, on paper, they look like a team that could beat this Missouri team by 15 to 20 points. But this rivalry is always intense. It's always chaotic. The stadium's usually full. It's usually half black and gold and then half orange and blue. So this will be an exciting matchup regardless. What are you expecting from the Illini in this game? They've had 8 days to prepare. But another neutral court game for the Illini, which so far we've done okay, and we've split the team or split the series so far on the season 1-1. But initial thoughts, what are you expecting?
I'm expecting a good game. Generally, this game is back and forth. Although the last couple of years, I feel like Illinois has had their number, but even still, I'm not completely confident in this Illinois team, so I think it's going to be a good game either way. I think Illinois is going to play hard. They got their butts chewed out, I'm assuming, in practice after that Nebraska game. It was not the most impressive performance by a lot of guys. I mean, we talked about it, but the Merck and Tommy stat lines combined were just abysmal. So I'm expecting those two especially to come out and play hard. I think they can take advantage of this team. It's not the most physically dominant team they're going to play, so I think they can take good advantage of that. I do like their chances a lot more now that they got my main man Babisic Ivisic.
Kovacic,
He
Ivasic.
is he is here to stay. No, Brad did say that he will not be playing in any games.
Just to clarify, you're speaking about Croatian transfer, or I suppose Croatian international, not even transfer, Tony Bilic, but Bobacic,
Yes.
Ivasic, as we've dubbed him so far on this podcast.
Yes. And Brad did come out and say that he will not be playing in any games, but even his presence there, I mean, you add one more bulk into that lineup, I'm telling you, the presence, the aura alone is enough to intimidate these teams. But I think it's going to be a good game. I mean, it's always a back and forth barn burner when we play Missouri. And people don't, outside of the Illinois and Missouri fan base, they don't really take this rivalry serious. They're like, oh, Illinois, Missouri, what do you mean? That's random. But I mean, this rivalry goes back a long time. We've been duking it out for a while now. So, and they do purposefully try to get the stadium half and half, to really get that experience, that vibe of the neutral site. So it'll be a good game. I'm expecting out of the gate strong performances. I don't think that they're going to be too lazy in this game. I think they've had a lot of time off. You look at the last game they had where they had a lot of time off before, what was it, the Tennessee game,
Yep.
and they performed really well. So I think that this extended stretch of practicing and gelling and getting over some of these weird Balkan drama issues that we have going on right now with Brad, telling David his brains in Serbia. He's not even from Serbia, so I don't know. But this is such an important game. I'm wearing two Illini hats for the remainder of this. That's how important this is. Um,
Vacation.
but yeah, I think it's going to be a great game. I'm excited and I'm happy that it's what time is the game? Is it it's a nighttime game, I have to assume.
I want to say it's like 6:30 or 7. It's definitely in the evening. Let me pull that up real quick. It's a 7 p.m. game on Fox Sports 1, so we don't need to deal with Peacock anymore.
Yeah, that's a good sign for Illinois. These Peacock games. I mean, who are the Nebraska was a Peacock game. They lost that.
Yeah. The game
But then
before that,
I think Ohio State was a Peacock
Ohio
game that
State
they
was,
won.
yeah.
So I'm not too down on Peacock yet, but I will tell you this: if Jelly Roll ain't there, I'm out. I'm immediately out.
Let's,
There is actually a very good chance Jelly Roll will be at the Music City Bowl, Illinois, Tennessee, in the football bowl game,
the
but
football rematch.
that's not for this podcast. But I'm
Uh,
looking forward to the game.
As am I, Noah. It's going to be an exciting game. The Illini have taken the last two in the bragging rights game. 2 years ago, they beat them pretty handily. Last year was actually only a 3-point game, which I don't know, man. I watch so much Illinois basketball that some of these games kind of blend together for me. But I don't remember it being that close last year. Now, Missouri, like I said before, they do have some continuity. So they got a taste of the European project from last year with Kasparis Yakachonis and Tomislav Ivicic. Now, this is a whole different brand of European flair for the Illini this season, so it'll be a little bit different to see what they throw at them. But I'd like to get into what kind of Missouri offers in this game. They're no slouch of a team, and the Illini kind of took Nebraska maybe as a little bit of a slouch, like we should just beat Nebraska because they're Nebraska. Many people are probably thinking, like even I said before, on paper, the Illini should probably beat this team by 15 or 20 points. If you look at Ken Palm or like Haslametrics, who I'm big on, Missouri is, let me see here, Missouri is 74 and the Illini are ninth in Haslametrics. So there's quite the discrepancy in terms of the rankings for both of these teams. But like I said, let's get into Missouri, what they offer. First and foremost, like I texted you before, this game is going to be won or lost for the Illini on the offensive and defensive glass. Missouri is 17th in offensive rebounding percentage. The Illini are 13th. So this is one of those games where Brad better be getting after the team in the 8 days of practice saying, I mean, I hope he's just throwing offensive and defensive rebounds at the glass and just telling them, like, get after it. Like, whoever wins this rebound is starting the game. Because that's how important the rebounding is going to be. I know you said before that you think the Illini have the advantage in terms of size and physicality. I'm not going to disagree with you there, but Missouri does offer some physicality of their own, primarily in Mark Mitchell, who, if any of you guys or listeners have been following for a while, Mark Mitchell's been around for a long time. He played with Jeremy Roach. He played with Jared McCain, and he played with Tyrese Proctor, all on Duke. 3 or 4 years ago at this point, they all kind of played at different times, but he was on a team with all of them at Duke. Now this is his second year at Missouri. He's their anchor inside. He's their anchor for the entire team. What I'm looking at is he averages 18 points a game. So who are the Illini going to put on him to stop him? Now, I don't think he's like JT Toppin level, so I don't think he's going to put up 35 on the Illini. But in past games, um, history shows the Illini have not been great against the offensive threat or the best offensive threat for other teams. So if you're going to put anybody to score over 20 points in this game, I would probably put Mark
I
Mitchell.
would bet on him to score 45 points in this game. I'm
If
not
you're
even
going to say
kidding.
45 off the bat, okay. It's also odd. He's listed as a guard, but he's 6'10". He's listed as 6'9". I don't believe that. If you watch some of their highlights, he's definitely taller than 6'9". He was the center for Duke when they had Jared McCain and Tyrese Proctor and Jeremy Roach. So he's not a short dude, and he's a big guy inside. So it's going to be interesting to see how Tomislav. I'd like to see David Mirkovic have a good defensive game. I think Zvonimir is going to help out at this point as well. But Mark Mitchell is a veteran. He's been playing in at least the bragging rights game for 2 years. I think what's most important is that we see Tomislav kind of come around. I'm not sure if he's ready because he's not been showing it the last few games, but he played well in last year's bragging rights game. So this is maybe one that, maybe he feels the intensity of the matchup. He feels the crowd in this one. I'll be there, so maybe I can give him some extra motivation by screaming his name or something. But um, I think if you're gonna put an X factor in this game, it's gonna be Tomislav versus Mark Mitchell. Now, there's other guys I'd like to highlight in this matchup, specifically on the Missouri side, but off the bat, Noah, your takes on Tomislav Ivicic versus Mark Mitchell. Who do you think gets the win there? Do you like that matchup?
I'm not extremely confident in Tommy right now. I mean, out of the Ivicic triplets, I think he's not performing great. I think Bobicic,
Ivicic
Ivicic,
triplet.
even right now, could be considered the best Ivicic triplet. But no, in reality, that's the great thing about having Big Z is that Tommy doesn't have to play great. You have that extra weapon. But I do think it's going to be important for Tommy to number one, hit his shots, but also just be a little bit quicker defensively. I mean, it's just tough. He gets beat so much inside that you almost just it's like a situation where okay, let him score the points and try our best to get our get back on the other end. But I'm not extremely confident in Tommy this game. But this could be one of those games where Tommy, switch flips that switch and he could take advantage of this team and stretch the floor, get out on the perimeter. But it's going to be, I think, an all-out effort from everybody, not just Tommy. I think Merck's going to have to step it up defensively. I think Big Z's just going to have to keep doing what he's doing, keep chirping the other team. I love it. Chirp the other fans. I love it. And you got Big Z chirping the other team. You got Merck chirping the fans. I mean, this shit's crazy right now. So I think that matchup's going to be very interesting to watch. And hey, if Tommy can't handle it, we'll stick Kylan on him. I mean, if Kylan can guard top, and then I'm sure he can, get on this guy a little bit. But it's going to be an interesting matchup either way. And I think I honestly do think that this Mitchell guy is going to get a lot of points, but I don't think that'll be enough to get them the win. Spoiler alert, but
I agree with you there. I think Mark Mitchell is going to have himself a game in this one, especially this being his second year in the bragging rights game. He knows how important this one is. But quickly, I do want to highlight some other players that could hurt the Illini because at this point, you gotta go down the starting five. I highlighted Sam Hoiberg in Nebraska, and it was Price Sanford that hurt us. So I don't want to leave any stone unturned in that sense. So as I was going over some highlight tapes against their Notre Dame loss and their loss to Kansas as well, I noticed Jacob Cruz, he's also a returner from last year, so he's also played in this bragging rights game before. He is their second leading scorer. No, yeah, their second leading scorer on the team. He is also 6'8", so he's a bigger guy. He reminds me a lot of Ben Humrickhouse if Ben Humrickhouse had like gotten in a groove and was able to shoot threes pretty consistently. Because Jacob Cruz is kind of their three-point sniper. He's a little bit bigger, so he does get inside and get rebounds as well. He averages nearly 5 a game. But if a guy on the Missouri Tigers is going to get hot from three, I'm looking at Jacob Cruz. Now the other guy that I kind of highlighted in our texts earlier, it was definitely Sebastian Mack, who's a former UCLA point guard. He played against the Illini last year in some Big Ten games. Now the only reason I'm highlighting him is because he's only averaged 8 points per game so far. But that's kind of the prototypical score for the um, it's kind of the prototypical player that would torch the Illini. He only averages 8, so he's probably going to score 30 in this game. That would make the most sense for the Illini. Um, so I'm looking at him as well. And then lastly, as I was going down their roster, I really wanted to highlight Sean Phillips Jr. It's been the guys inside, especially since the second half of the Nebraska game, which is the last game, I suppose. But it was Rink Mass that kind of did the damage. And then it was also, what was his name? Um, I'm not going
the
to be
guy
thinking.
from Turkey,
No, not Buchton Gel. The other guy who was pretty big for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. I'm not going to be able to think of his name off the top of my head, but he kind of iced the game for them on a few possessions at the end of it. And it was like just offensive rebound and then put back. So I'm looking at Sean Phillips Jr. He's an Arizona State transfer from last year, started his career at LSU. He's their 7-footer. So if Tomislav and Zvonimir are going to have to put up with anybody who's also 7 feet on this court against them, it's Sean Phillips Jr. It's only really going to matter because he's their size, and if him or Mark Mitchell get in foul trouble, they'll probably substitute one with the other. But either way, Missouri's got some size of their own. I think Illinois' size is formidable, but it'll be interesting to see all three of those players how they match up. I'm mostly highlighting Jacob Cruz here just because I mean his shot's pretty pure. So I was getting Price Sanford flashbacks when I was watching. They lost to Notre Dame, but I was watching a shot and I was like, oh man, this could be Price Sanford if we're not careful. So I think what's most important is we're going to have to see Illinois get on Missouri early defensively. We're also going to have to see them score early offensively. Uh, But where I think Illinois has the advantage in this game is Missouri's got some really strong interior defense, similar to that Nebraska team that they just played. But what Missouri doesn't do that Nebraska does very well is they struggle to defend kickouts after post entries. So, for example, if we've got Keaton dribbling the ball up the court and they dump it into Tomislav, what Nebraska did so well is they contained Tomislav and then they made you kick it out to a guy you don't want shooting the three, like we highlighted last podcast. So it'd typically be like Andre. Now, what Missouri doesn't do well is they give you kickouts to guys who are good 3-point shooters. So I want to get into my next point here, which was I don't know if you saw that Sleepers podcast I sent you, but it was so well done. And I wish I had the money to kind of like buy these subscriptions to some of the data that they have. Um, but was so surprising to me, and I don't know if you saw the like the highlight from it, was the Illini's best three-man like lineup in terms of offensive efficiency is Keaton Wagler, David Merkovich, and Jake Davis, believe it or not. Because Jake Davis adds that layer of you got to spread the floor because he could hit the three. And Ben Hummerkaus is a similar player. He hasn't averaged as close to what you'd like him to this year. But they really give you that spacing on the floor. And I don't know if when you saw that or if you read that, you were like, what, Jake Davis? Like, why is he in the most efficient
Didn't
line?
surprise me at all. I mean, Jake Davis is money from the corner. He's probably the GOAT. I mean, I did predict him to be the MVP of the Nebraska game, but either way, it doesn't surprise me. So, but I do love that Jake Davis is finally getting the respect that he deserves. We've been
Yeah,
saying it. We've been praising him. Big Gucci Sosa's been praising him,
of
and
course.
finally now the people know the truth.
And yeah, so it was interesting to see that like if you have guys, I mean, obviously you want Andre on the floor. I think Andre is going to be important in this game. But as I was saying before, Nebraska, or I'm sorry, Missouri, unlike Nebraska, they're going to give up those open threes if you get inside and then kick it out. So Jake Davis, I think, could be important in this game. Ben Humrickhouse could be important in this game. Obviously, I think Keaton Wagler is going to be important in this game. It'll be fun to see Keaton Wagler play against a state that he grew up so close to. I know he's a Kansas guy, but Missouri's right next door. So maybe he's got a little bit of bad blood with Missouri for not recruiting him and letting him slip away. So I'm looking at those shooters for the Illini. I think that'll be the X factor. I'd like to see the Illini play better defensively, but this is a Missouri team that I think Illinois can outscore. Um, that's really kind of the X factor in this game, in my opinion, is how many points we're going to put up. I don't want to be so simple as to say whoever scores more points is going to win the game, but I think the Illini
It's true
outscore
though. It's a
Missouri.
true statement.
It's a true statement, and I think the Illini outscore Missouri in this one. But I would like to see the defense come around. Now, like I said before, this is going to be a defensive battle. Missouri kind of thrives at the rim, especially if they get offensive rebounds. They capitalize on a lot of their putbacks after offensive rebounds. Um, Now, Noah, if you had an X factor that you're looking at in this game, what would you say as far as line players, or if you're looking at anybody to step up? It could be Merkovich again if you want to pick Merkovich again.
Yeah, I think one of the factors that's going to play a big role is the reffing, because that's been a common theme in these close games that Illinois has had lately. Is like the refs are just calling weird stuff. So you hope to see that not be the case. I don't think these will be Big Ten refs. It's not a Big Ten game, although maybe they will be Big Ten refs. I have no idea. Um, but you just got to watch out for the foul trouble. You want to try to rebound. I mean, obviously that's cliche. I say it every single game, but rebounding is key. And you notice the games that they're losing are the games where they're getting out rebounded for the most part. But luckily, I don't think this Missouri team is all that good. I don't think they're as good as Ohio State. I don't think they're as good as Nebraska. I don't think they're good as Tennessee or Texas Tech. So Illinois, if they're as legit as we think they are, they should be able to win this game no problem. Now, in terms of X factor, I really want to see Merck just go crazy. I mean, he's got to have another big double-double performance. I mean, 20 and 20, whatever, I want to see him silence the haters. Too many people talking right now, running their mouth. He's gonna leave. He's transferring out mid-season. Oh my God, what's gonna happen? They brought in Bobasic. He's gonna take Merck's minutes. So I just want to see Merck silence all the haters, put that to rest, and I think he's more than capable of doing it. But I think defensively, I want to see Cameron Crocker. I want to see a Cameron Crocker masterclass game. I want to see just like tight press defense. I want to see just Pizza Hut parking lot. I mean, we gotta get back to the Pizza Hut parking lot. We've been straying away too far from that lately. We let Nebraska punk us on our home court. Buzzer beater three. I mean, that's ridiculous. But yeah, I think Merck's going to be a key factor here, and I'll give my prediction for the score. I do think Illinois is going to win. I think that we're going to win by double digits. I think this is going to be another case of, yeah, we're pissed off that we lost that last game so close. And I think they're going to come out and they're just going to, you know, they're really going to do some work. So my final prediction, Illinois 86, Missouri 72. And you're going to see a couple technical fouls. You're going to see a couple technical. Big Z's going to do something. He's gonna do something inappropriate, make a joke, curse somebody out, and that's gonna rile up the bench, and everybody's gonna get hyped, and then Jake Davis, he's just gonna hit so many corner threes. I'm just gonna lose my mind. But yeah, I'm predicting a double-digit win by Illinois here.
All right. I like that prediction, Noah. Now I'm going to do something I typically don't for the sake of the podcast and adding a little bit more entertainment to this. I'm going to make a score prediction myself. If it does not go well, I think I'll put an end to this forever once again. Like I said before, I don't usually do this, but I'll be at this game, so I think it's only fair that I give my score prediction. I think Mark Mitchell is going to score 30 plus. I think uh, let me see what his name is. I've just lost it off the top of my head. The second guy, Jacob Cohen or whatever his name is. I think he's going to score some pretty important baskets. Ultimately, I think this is a close game in the first half, but the Illini pull away in the second half. I think it's going to be a 12 or 13 point victory, and I would say Illini 79 to 66. I think it'll be lower scoring than people think. I think Brad's going to have this team defensively ready to go, and I think it'll be a physical matchup. I really hope we don't see a ton of foul calls because I think this is the type of game where it could go that way, especially with how fiery it might be. We'll see. The atmosphere there might be kind of weak, but um, I'm expecting a good crowd. I'm excited for the game. Now, Noah, before we wrap this up, I'm going to put you on the spot here because I don't even know if you were ready for this question. So if you need me to go first, I will. But do you have a favorite bragging rights game moment from the past of because this game always happens around Christmas. Typically, my family in the past had like Christmas parties and like we'd watch this game at the Christmas party. At least my dad and I remember him, he would always make sure that it had to be on, and I would be like, "Oh, we gotta have the bragging rights game on." So if you need me to go first, I will go first. But if you have one off the top of your head, favorite bragging rights game moment.
Wow. Um, I would say to answer that, no, I don't have a favorite bragging rights moment. I can barely remember what the hell happened in the last game. All I can think about generally, dude, I get so anxious for these games,
Oh, dude,
especially the ones like the Dukes and the Yukons. I don't get nervous for those at all because you lose those, it's whatever. It's not a big deal, but it's a bragging right.
it's a big deal, but I know what you mean.
But dude, no, I don't have a single. I can't even, honestly, now that you mention that, I don't even know if these two programs have ever played each other. I can't remember a single game they've ever played each other.
Yeah.
That's
That's what
how,
they played each other before. The Illini are up historically in the matchup 35 to
no,
50. So
no, it's a good rivalry. I think honestly, it's probably Illinois' biggest rivalry in basketball, and it's probably our only rivalry in basketball. So I
I
enjoy it.
you like Iowa the last few years and Michigan have been kind of our rivals, but this is like the longest standing in terms of like
Michigan
this is
ain't
the
no
Orange Bowl.
rivalry. We just be beating them. We
The
beat him
schools
every
are.
time.
You gotta always talk your crap about Michigan, which I like. I hope that doesn't
I
come back
just
to
hate
haunt.
Michigan. I hate
Yeah, I mean
Michigan
the
so
schools
much.
are the schools are 4 hours apart, so it's always exciting to see them get together. They used to play in football, which I thought was exciting too, and they kind of ended that matchup. But if I had to choose a bragging rights moment that was my favorite, I'm gonna go with the Ravonte Rice step back three-pointer. I think it was 2014. I'm not gonna look up the year, but either way, Illinois fans will remember that moment, the Ravonte Rice step back three-pointer to win the game. Ravonte Rice was a dog, dude. I don't know if you were watching Illinois basketball at that time, but he was
I vaguely do remember him.
they weren't great. It was like him, Malcolm Hill and Kendrick Nunn were both like freshmen or sophomores or something. And they had Jalen Tate playing point guard. And Jalen Tate couldn't make a basket outside of a layup if he like had a like if it was ridiculous. He couldn't shoot to save his life. I think we had LeBron Black back then too. Anyways, Ravonte Rice was a dog, and he hit that step back three pointer. And I think I was watching that game in my basement in Glenview when I was like a little kid. So that's my favorite bragging rights moment. But hopefully there'll be more to celebrate about
My
after.
favorite's gonna be when Bobasich just dismantles this. That would be the ultimate smokescreen from Brad. Like, oh yeah, he's not gonna play. He's just
I
here
mean,
to
they haven't like
practice.
officially
And then
redshirted him,
and then
so
he starts. And then he literally starts against Missouri. And then they're like, whoa, we don't know what's going on. I mean,
I
I
don't
know
know
it's
if
not gonna
Brad's
happen,
that
but
wild. But anyways, it will be an exciting matchup on Saturday, or I'm sorry, on Monday evening. Missouri versus the number 18 Fighting Illini now. So hopefully this will be one of those games where it's really the last one of the non-conferences that you could be worried about, and then you got Southern University and then Big Ten play. So this could either be a huge positive going into Big Ten play, or it could be a huge negative depending on how the game shapes up. But I'll be there on Monday, so I'm very excited for it, Noah. Um,
this
any
could
last?
be a this could possibly be a must-win game. I mean, if we lose this game, then people are gonna start having conversations about
I
their
like
underwear.
the term you used last time. It's not a must win; it's a can't lose.
Mm, facts.
I like that because if you lose this game, it really makes other people think, especially it's another nationally televised game. So if you lose another nationally televised game, it's like, what are the Illini doing? We'll have our takes after the game. I'll be at the game. I'm going to talk to you after this podcast about what some of the ideas I had, but I have some good ideas for some content in St. Louis. I'll be there at like
If there's any
touchdown.
fans at the game, try to find Chase and we'll take a picture with you and post it
Hey,
on the Instagram.
I'm gonna be spreading Chillinois basketball podcast around. Maybe I should get some like business cards or something to hand
We
out.
need Chillinois merch. We need to get Chillinois hats that we can hand out to the people.
If you want a Chillinois hat for Christmas, let us know in the comments. We
Yeah.
can probably make it happen.
Maybe Christmas might be too tight of a schedule, but we'll
Uh,
work on it.
it's a Christmas miracle or
We'll
something.
work on it for when Illinois is in the finals this year.
Well, we can certainly look out for that. But most importantly, ILL this weekend or not this weekend, but on Monday. We'll talk to you guys and we'll have a review for you after the Illinois versus Missouri game. And then I was thinking about maybe doing like a more in-depth review on the season at this point so far, but that's all coming up on the Chillinois basketball podcast in the future. Thank you guys for tuning in. This has been Noah Morgano and Chase Swearingen once again, ILL.
I and I.